Interracial relationships are not natural.
Wow. All right, so let's see what he got to say. I have not watched this video, but yeah, y'all already know how I feel about this.
Are gonna hate me for this one, but I don't give a fuck. It's the truth. When you go outside of your race of people to another race of people, this means that within your own group of people, you are not getting the love that you need. So you will go to another race of people to fill the void of your own people not loving you. Now, when you do this, this creates a confusion with your own identity.
He might have a point there, actually. I don't necessarily agree with him saying that interracial interracial couples shouldn't exist because for me, I actually enjoy the idea of that because, well, that's how the human race is unified in the first place. If you have, there's no more unified structure than a family. So when you have blended families, when you have a family with a white person and a black person, then that literally merges the two worlds together. You know, literally in the old times, that's how like when kings would have like war with each other, or kings would have like two opposing countries would have beef with each other. The way they would settle their beef, in some situations, is they will have their daughter marry into that family. You see what I'm saying? Because once the kings that king from this country daughter, let's say the king from blue country marries into the red country's family, then now they are family. They're both family. So that's how I look at that's how I look at interracial marriage or interracial couples. But what he's saying, it has a point to it. Let's hear what he got to say.
In a lost within self. When you look in nature, no species mix with one another. Every species on earth stays separate and remain in harmony with each other. You don't see a lion mixing with a giraffe. You don't see a giraffe mixing with a tiger. You don't see a tiger mixing with any other species.
Well, a better example would have said you don't see a lion mixing with a leopard because they're both of the feline. They're both cats. You don't want to say a giraffe. That's literally a whole different species. Now, I guess to his argument, he's basically trying to say, man, he's he's pretty fit actually. Now I'm looking at it, but I guess what he's trying to say is that white people and black people or any other race, they're a totally different species, which some people feel that race is a social construct. So, but I don't think they were a totally different species because if here's the loophole in his argument. A giraffe and a lion, even if they were to mate with one another, they still wouldn't be able to produce offspring. So the reason why that's different than a white person and a black person is because if a white person and a black person have mate with each other, they're going to produce offspring. If a white person and a black person, white person and an Asian person mate with one another, they have the potential to produce offspring. It's just the fact of the matter. So that means they're not different species.
Because nature knows they need to stay separate and remain in their unique individuality to maintain harmony in creation.
Now, another thing I want to say too is he said, they don't mix. Well, look at dogs. Like you could take a German Shepherd and a Rottweiler, a Husky and a Rottweiler, a Husky and a Poodle or whatever. That's why they have a Labradoodle, because that's a mixture between a Labrador Retriever and a Poodle. They look totally different than each other, but yet they will mate with one another. So that's the loophole in his argument. Now there's somebody who this is somebody who responded to him.
You being real wrong and real stupid real loud. Not only are you
First of all, this guy already looks like somebody that first of all, I'm a black dude. I'm gonna be real. Black women aren't into dudes that look like this. This guy right here, let me move this out the way. Black women aren't into dudes that look like this. Look at his design on his shirt and everything. That screams anime all the way. That's straight anime. Black women aren't into that. So that is why, first of all, that is why he's offended in the first place, because he most likely he probably is into Asian women, has a fetishization, whatever they call it, he fetishizes. Gosh, I'm messing that word up. He probably has a fetish for Asian women or white women, because black women ain't gonna want him. So obviously he's gonna justify that. I'm not saying I agree with the guy before him. I'm just saying obviously he's gonna have this type of viewpoint. Let's hear what he got to say.
wrong about animals in nature not interacting or having relations with other species than their own. But you're also being bioessentialist and gross by saying there's these inherent differences between the races. Race is an entirely social construct, as
Social construct. I always hear people say that, but where is the evidence on if it's a social construct or not? You can obviously clearly see the differences. It's not social construct if I just need to look at the definition of social construct. How is a social construct if you could see the differences? You can clearly see the differences in how even genetics play a part in athleticism, culture, music, all types of things. But I guess it's just a social construct. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know.
everyone should know. There's more genetic variance between any two random people of the same race than there is between any two random people from the same geographical region. Also, the entire framework of species is kind of made up and arbitrary. It used to be that species was defined by ability to mate and produce fertile children. But grizzly bears and polar bears are different species despite their ability to produce viable offspring. Anyways, stop being weird. Please.
I mean, he got a point about the grizzly bear and the polar bear. I mean, based on what he's saying, they probably can mate with one another. Um, in conclusion, I want to say this: they both of these guys have good points, but what I want to say is, overall, the other guy was kind of like, if you want to be with somebody that's, I don't know. You, if we're humans and it's a social construct, why can't you be attracted to? You know what? I'll be honest. I've had connections with people of any race. I've had friends with people of every race. You can't control who you have a connection with. If you have a connection with an Asian person, a white person, a black person, it's not based on their race. It's based on the soul. See, I think a lot of us forget the fact that like God created us and we're spiritual beings. So if you connect with somebody on a certain type of level, it's because it's spiritual. Spiritual. Regardless of what you look like on the outside, it's spiritual. We're not going to be here forever, but we will be spirits. We will exist on being spirits. And if you believe in God, hopefully you do, eternally with God. I don't necessarily agree that if you don't like yourself, if you want to be with a woman of another race. That's like saying that if you have friends that are another race because you connect with them on a level like spiritually, which makes you have a friendship, then that means that you don't like your own race because you got white friends, but you're black. You don't like your own race because you got Asian friends. Sometimes that is the case. Sometimes people distance themselves from their own race to get with a certain group of people. Yes, that is true. But if you just have a spiritual, emotional connection with someone, then you want to fall in love with them and start a family, I don't think, and especially if you're also attracted to them, I don't think that should determine, just generalize you as somebody that just you know don't like yourself, which I don't think that's the case. You can still love yourself and be with someone of another race. Your kids may not look like you, but yeah, these are some good topics. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Like, there's some good stuff.